What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
This is you as you, not as you as a worm.
But have I had the training?
Oh, for
Oh.
No, well, I've said before, haven't I, about maybe having a go at an operation.
I don't know why it leaps from where. It leaps from no ambition, where if he could have a job, it would his best job he's ever had is a paper round, and if he could have a job, he'd like go to the cobbler once a week and then walk a dog. To I'd like to have a go at thoracic surgery.
No, I'm just saying, I bet it's like we do this, and you know, some people like listening to it and what have you, and you go, fair enough, but I never feel like I'm doing anything of any worth.
No, you're absolutely right there.
But if you're going into like an hospital, which are places that are pretty miserable anyway, as an office space, not only have you got to go in that building and work in it, but you've then got the pressure of changing a lung or whatever I've said before. Right?
Changing a lung, yeah.
But I'd like to have a go at it so I can say...
You've done it.
I've done that.
So, under what circumstances, in what world, do you think anyone's going to let you have a go at changing a lung and that? Jim will fix it?
No, I'm just saying the
Comic
way...
relief?
But the way the world is, and the way that there's more and more people, more and more doctors are needed. I mean, it's already happening now that people are doing jobs that they're not really qualified for because they get sort of, what's the word? Sort of uppered too early.
Uppered.
Uppered! I love the fact it's basic language. It's like, it's unbelievable. Uppered.
Do you know what I mean?
Promoted.
Yeah, promoted.
Yeah.
They get promoted.
I prefer
too early.
uppered.
Uppered's great.
Why was I not uppered? Unbelievable.
So do you know what I mean? I think because more and more people are knocking about, we need more and more doctors.
Yeah.
You get a job in a doctor's, you're going to be promoted sooner now, I think.
Yeah. Well, what I'd do is I'd probably upper you, and then what's the word? You go away them.
I think it is you go away them.
You leave the door. You leave the door. You fire them. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'd upper you and go away the doctor, if anything.
But I've been to, you know how I don't like going to the doctors and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you're always scared that they might investigate below the bridge.
Yeah, but I checked on that before. I signed up to it, and then they said, right, before we can take you on as a patient, you've got to have a health check, right? Which I thought was odd, because it's almost like saying, if you're ill, we can't be having you coming here, right? But I said, right, okay, fair enough. What is this health check? And they said, oh, you know, we'll just check your body out and make sure you're fit and healthy. And I thought, that isn't enough information. You know, I know if it's the old finger trick. And I said, what do you mean, though? When you said health check, what do you do? And she said, oh, it's just... I think she knew what I was getting at. And she said, oh, it's just the blood pressure, your height, your weight. That's about it. So I went and had it and stuff. But you had to... Before you sort of said, right, I want this doctor, they give you loads of forms to fill out, right? And one of the things they did was, if you die, what do you want to give away? Right? Like a donor.
Mm.
And what have you, and I thought, I really thought about it for 40 minutes or so. I didn't just rush into it. I was sat there thinking, you know, if I'm dead, does it matter and stuff? But I was really concerned when it said about the eyes.
Right.
Right. Why? What do you mean? What? Because can they have your eyes after you die?
It was. I think it was fourth on the list.
Why do you care about giving your eyes away when you're dead?
Just because of that thing of, you know, we don't know for sure yet. I know that you poo-poo it, but the afterlife thing.
So why, in an afterlife, would you want your eyes more than your liver and your kidneys and your lungs and your heart?
Because ghosts don't eat, do they? So you don't need all your liver and your kidneys and stuff, because they're only there to sort your food out. But your eyes, if you're a ghost, I don't want to be a blind ghost. Because you're around forever then, aren't you? Once you're a ghost, that's it. So the idea of being blind when you're alive, you go, well, all right, then maybe in the afterlife I might be treated to a pair of eyes. But the fact of wandering about, dead for years, bumping into stuff...
Oh, God! Oh, it's amazing!
So,
that's an amazing image!
So I didn't tick that box.
But why? I don't understand. In your theory of the afterlife, why is it that this ghostly Carl, why can he survive without a heart, but he can't survive without eyes? Why? Do you see what I mean? Surely, if you're this ghostly apparition, you can just see everything and you can do everything. You don't need the body.
No,
because you're a ghost.
Yeah, I know, but I think when you're a ghost, Say like how they've seen ghosts in.
Right, could I just say now for any listeners, this is not the thoughts and beliefs of the management. There is no such thing as ghosts. I do not believe in ghosts. I do not believe in ESP or any mumbo jumbo. Carry on, Carl. So when there's a ghost, yeah.
When they see ghosts in like old castles and stuff,
Yeah.
they've had their head cut off because they've been up to no good, like years ago.
But they're carrying it around normally under their arm.
That's what I'm saying. It hasn't reattached itself. So if you take the eyes out,
But Carl, how is this ghostly creature able to function? It doesn't have its head on anyway. It's carrying it under its arm. So the suspicion is it doesn't need its head.
no, it
It
does.
just happens to be carrying it around because it wants to keep it with it.
The
And
ghost is always in the last condition that it was in when it was in.
Who
is
makes
it-
these rules?
The way you are in your last bit of life is how you are as a ghost forever, even in the fashion. Like I say, the ghosts that you see never wear modern clothes, so it's always the Victorian stuff. Now, if they could change it, they would, but they can't because they're stuck with it. So that's
Why
what I'm
did you
saying
see
with the eyes.
cavemen ghosts? When did ghosts start? They didn't kick in till about 1830, did they? What if you die when you're having a rectal examination? Are you always bent forward with your trousers around your ankles and someone's finger up your
But
arse?
why would you die when you're having that done? That's why I'm not having it done. If that's you saying.
No. But you might have both been suddenly killed in a terrible disaster.
Yeah, a meteorite hit you.
That's when you get the moaning ghosts, isn't it? They're the ones who aren't happy.
So you're going round bent forward.
Going,
You've got
"Oh."
a doctor's finger up your arse,
Yeah.
and what are you doing?
You start going, oh, and that's when you have to get the vicar round.
What do you mean?
They have to put you to rest and what have you, don't they?
And what does a vicar do when he's going? So I get the vicar round. It's years later. It's 100 years later. You're around this doctor's surgery, and there's people coming, and the doctor there, the new doctor there, and it's 2073, and they go, Vicar. They go, Vicar, there's a strange ghostly apparition. It looks like an old doctor, right? And he's got his fingers up this sort of like little. It's like a chimpanzee, but with a shaved head.
No, but the doctor wouldn't be. Are you saying the doctor dies as well?
Yeah,
as
they
you?
die. Yeah,
you both
yeah,
died.
you die at the same time with his finger up your ass, and so you're forever having a little rectal examination with your little trousers around your ankles.
Well, that's when it'd be best not to have your eyes.
Questions for Carl, just to sort of try and tap into his brain, see what's going on there. Yeah. The questionnaire that is often featured at the end of the TV programme Inside the Actor's Studio. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Is that how it works?
Oh,
No.
What do you mean? What's the question?
Well, I don't know. Do you hear so many other things that you have to go through other gates? I can't imagine him being on the door, is what I'm saying. If he owns a place, what's he doing there? He could put anyone on it.
It's St. Peter, isn't it, who's normally minding the gates, famously.
Right, so it's him asking me.
Okay, well, let's say it's St. Peter.
No. You go through the gate. Peter goes, "Oh, you're expected. He's got an appointment. We're going through to God. Go through a few doors. Go up top floor. Right, past the executive washroom into his big office. Okay, that overlooks the universe.
So what?
So you've gone in to see God, it's an audience with God, you've died, you've gone to heaven, and what would you like God to say to you at that point?
Probably just say, you've done well and that in your life. You never did anybody any harm. So, welcome to heaven. Any problems, give us a shout. Here's a little layout of like a little map. It's kind of like.
I love this. This is a great answer. And my favourite one is you never did anyone any harm. That's great. That's a brilliant thing for God to say.
Yeah.
So hang on, he's giving you a little map.
So he's got a little map of the area.
Map,
It's
and he'll
big.
sort of say, this is where you go for this is where you go for that. I'd probably ask him about the ghost situation. I'd say, am I now a ghost then? Or is this just like another planet that I've come onto?
Right.
I don't know if he'd answer that. I don't know if he'd be sort of a bit,
Bit cagey.
yeah, a little bit like, well, I don't want to panic you and stuff. I'd say, right, is it right that I can see past family and that? Because to be honest, I'd probably prefer to stay away.
He doesn't even want to.
No, but because the thing is, if you've
that's
done all,
amazing.
I've done all that in this life, so it's about moving on to another life and meeting different people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point? It's just
Yeah.
like the same all over again, but everywhere's white. I mean, I don't know if it is like
Do you
this.
think God would like this podcast?
Well, I suppose it just kills half an hour, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but time's not a problem for him, is it?
Yeah, it is, because he lives for ages, so he needs loads of filler. I bet he's, doing stuff that is just like, I'm not really into this, but it's something to do, isn't it?
Sudoku and stuff.
But I think there'll be just as many problems up there as there is here, because at least people are leaving here. Whereas up there, that's the thing that I'd be worried about the most, actually, that it's really crowded. Because it's years and years of dead people, isn't it? London does me head in. Up there, it's going to be well busier than that.
What about teenagers, and do you feel that life was better in, say, the 1950s?
I don't know, I wasn't around. So
but you understand what it was like in those days? You've seen Happy Days.
I don't know, people always say, don't they? Old people always say, it's a better life in the 50s. And it's like, yeah, it was for them. Of course it was for them. They're old now. Being old isn't great, is it? So you're just happy with your lot. I suppose I was happiest in about 1984.
Right.
Specific year.
Why? Why was that?
It was just I was free and happy. Do you know
How
what I mean?
old were you?
I don't know. 22.
He's just counting on his fingers now.
12.
Right, okay.
And it was just good.
So the happiest days of your life were between the age of 12 and 13?
Yeah, it was good. I had the world ahead of me.
Little did you know your hair was going to fall out and you were going to whinge every minute of the day.
I had my bike. I like messing about my bike. You had your mates. I had a pet magpie.
So you were probably the teenager that you eventually hate?
Probably.
Were you a good lad, law-abiding?
I wasn't bad. I just sort of, just potted about. I mean, when people talk about what was on the telly back then, I don't have that much memory of it because I was always out. I was always playing out.
What were you doing when you were out?
Just playing about, just like on a bike or...
Just riding in a circle endlessly through blizzards,
I loved it.
rain, sleet, hail.
I never seemed to be in. I was always... When everyone always goes, where were you when Band-Aid was happening? I was always out on my bike. And everything was
like you and McGregor?
A memory's always sort of like coming in for some orange and looking at the telly and seeing Princess Diana's getting married, and my mum says, have you seen this? And I'm going, oh, I'm going out on my bike. I was always doing that. The only time I was in the house...
This is why you don't know anything, because you never stopped.
Yeah, but this is what being a kid's about.
But
That's
all
what
the
I mean, being
information
free.
you have, Carl, is as though you've gleaned it as you raced by on a bike. It's almost like, every piece of information you have.
Your hair blowing in the wind. Carl, your hair will blow out one day. Oh, don't talk stupid, ma'am.
Was easy. So yeah, 12 to 13 was good.
But you see...
And it was all downhill from then, was it?
13, you're a teenager then, aren't you? Life got tough.
Yeah, how did it get tough?
Just straight away when I was 13, my mum was like, oh, it's your 13th birthday, you're a teenager now.
Right.
And she gave us a quid to go and get a cake to celebrate it. Went to the supermarket, got a cake, and I just thought, I don't like the look of this. Don't like the look of the way the future is here.
On his 13th birthday!
Well, you were buying a cake. What did you see at the supermarket?
It was kind of like, I don't know, I suddenly felt grown up. I didn't like it.
But I think you were always about 58, really, with your outlook.
Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk. So they always had a bit of a worry look on my face. Didn't say much, just always listened. My eyes moved about more than I did. Just sat there looking around, looking stressed.
Cure, Lullaby, on NME Radio, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Now, straight after your holiday, you got home and then came out to visit me in Boston on the set of my film I was doing. How was that?
Well, I didn't want to do it, did I? He called up and said, do you want to come out? And
Do
I
a
thought,
favour for me. Ricky said, can you do a favour for me? You thought no.
Well, no, I didn't just go no. I sort of said, what is it? And he said, oh, well, you can just have a part. And he's like, what's the point? No, I'm not an actor. I can't act. What's the point? It's a long way to go. So anyway, he said, all right, don't bother. And a week later, calls back and he says, bring Suzanne with you if you want. Oh, holiday. So I thought, yeah, I could treat Suzanne to that.
I thought a little part for him. They'd probably pay 2 flights.
Yeah.
She's coming out.
So-
I thought, share it with friends. I was
You're a generous guy.
Yeah, so I thought, oh, she'll love that. That'll get me in the good book. So I said, listen, we're going to Boston. She goes, right. Anyway, Ricky books the tickets and that. She can't get time off because we'd just been in Menorca. So they said, hang on, you've just had a week off. You can't go anywhere. So I had to go on my own, right? Which, fair enough. I'd said I'd go by that point. It'd all been booked. The costume that I needed for the film bit had been made. I couldn't get out of it. I was in too deep. Anyway, go there. Boston isn't worth seeing.
Oh.
I mean, you're talking about travelling the world and, opening your eyes and seeing new things. There's nothing to see in Boston. It's Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. There's nothing else, is there? I'm not being unfair there. I mean, it looks nice. There's nice buildings.
You mean there's not a museum of the weird?
There's they had something to do with tea bags, didn't they? That I told
No, it's the Boston
hotel.
Tea Party. It wasn't nothing to do with tea bags. It was the Boston Tea Party. That one of the founding events of America.
I know,
It wasn't something to do with tea bags.
So other than that,
it wasn't chimps. There was no chimps involved in the Boston Tea Party.
For me, I went out for a walk on 2 of the days when I wasn't having to work, and
yeah, only worked for 1 day.
Well,
got 3 days free,
2.
4 days in a hotel, all paid for. 1 day's work. I mean, it really is. He really is ungrateful.
So anyway, Steve, I dressed up as a caveman in some old animal stuff, which you thought, well,
this was for the film, was it? This wasn't just your natural.
Yeah. So could I just say, it was not real fur. I insisted there was no real fur.
Well,
used.
you say that.
Yeah.
I get back, right, I'm run down because I didn't sleep when I was out there. I'm not very good. If Suzanne's not in the bed, there's something, it's like I feel...
What, she's got to be there to tell you to sleep?
Well,
Close your eyes now, Carl.
It just...
Now, and our ears, stop listening.
Listen to my words. Stop, sleep now, ears.
So anyway, so I wasn't sleeping, so I was there for 4 days or whatever. I must have had about 3 hours.
One real day's work filming,
2,
and he was
2
shattered.
really, 2.
He was absolutely shattered. He was weak. He was ill for a week afterwards. I did like 35 days, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, but you were sleeping. If you don't sleep, it's basic sort of biology, that. If you don't sleep, you get run down. Sloths never get a flu. Because it's good, isn't it? That's when your body's replenishing.
Stop. Can we just go over that one? Replenishing.
What is it then?
I'm gonna burst. Sloths never get flu because that's when your body's replenishing.
So the thing is, I'm bound to get ill. Steve, you know what it's like. You're always like got a cold and that.
Oh, he's dissing you. Everything's
what's it got to do with
I'm just saying because you're a bit of a sickly child, so you don't
Oh, jeez.
I'm only
going to go at the looks
no,
and then
only because I'm trying to get him on my side. So anyway, so I'm shattered. I get back, so I think it's a bit weird that this isn't shaking off. And there was some news report about how there's some serious illnesses in planes because stuff goes out the engine and into the.
Oh yeah, it's people from all over the world with all different things.
Yeah,
breathing the
so
same
I'm thinking,
air,
oh, what have I got? You know, it's my luck, innit? So I go to the doctors.
The doctor said, "Well, you've done a whole day's work. You're not used to that. Your body's shut down.
So he said,
You better have a holiday."
Yeah, you need. This is when your body needs replenishing. And I am a doctor, and I know replenishment is one of the best.
Replenishization.
So-
Replenishization is one of the best things for sloths.
So I said to him, I said, look, I'm not one to moan. I hardly go to see him.
He went, "Oh, you."
I hardly see him. I hardly see this fella. So I said, look, I can't shake this cold off. I woke up the other night shaking. And he said, oh, virus. Right? So,
which isn't scary at all, because everything, you know.
well, there's some dodgy virus, isn't
Well,
there?
yeah, but there's some.
That's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah, well,
that's
of course, it's
why
a
I'm worried.
virus.
Yeah.
What else would it? What else would it be?
I don't know. Not a doctor. So I said, oh, when's it going to go? And he said, oh, might be 2 weeks, this one. Seems like a bad one. You're quite clammy, he said. So I said, yeah, I feel a bit clammy, yeah. And he said, yeah, you will do. So anyway, so I felt happy about that, and I'm more confident with the doctor, because, you know, you've got your vest off and all that, so you think, why not just let him do a bit of a body check? So I said, doctor, whilst I'm here, I think I've got some eczema on my leg. And he goes, let's have a look. And I said, there it is there. And he said, that's not eczema. So you've got a touch of ringworm.
Blimey.
Right? So straight away, anything with a worm in it, you're going, you know what?
Yeah.
'Cause it makes it sound worse on it. I was thinking like tapeworm and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's going, yeah, ringworm, and he saw me panic, and he went, don't worry.
You
it's not-
pictured a worm with a giant
Well,
mechanical arm crawling up
he
your back.
could see by my face was a little bit like, I've got a worm in my leg. He's going, don't worry, it's not a worm. And I said, how have I got that then? And I reckon it's from this bear suit that I had
It
to
wasn't.
wear.
It was. Well, it was
It's a
fake
little bit
fur.
weird that I had
No, it was
bare
'cause you were in
boots
Lo-
on. I had bare boots on, and
Yeah.
where the bare boot was, I ended up with ringworm on my
Do you
leg.
know why it's where it was? Because the only bit of your leg showing, because you had bare boots on, fake fur, with a fake fur tunic, and the only bit showing was your shin. You were walking around in long grass. You got it from the grass.
Well, no, because I said to him, because I wanted to wear the words bear suit from him. I said, where
What's the chances of that?
Yeah.
I said, where...
Doctor, what might I got this from? And then you just shut up and waited for him to say
I
bear
said,
suit.
it's a little bit weird, isn't it? I said, I thought that died out with rickets, right? because I'd never heard of ringworm since I was a kid. I remember some dirty kid had it at school, and my mum sort of said, don't go near him. So I said, ringworm then, doctor. Where have I got that from? Thinking he'd say...
Have you been wearing a bear suit?
Yeah. Anyway, he said, well, he says gay people get it.
What?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Why did he say that to you?
Well, this is what he said. He said gay people. I said, right, tick that off. He said wrestlers.
Why do wrestlers get it?
And I said, I don't understand the connection. I said, I don't know, any gays. I don't know any wrestlers. And he went, well, it's the body, skin rubbing.
Well, why do only gay people get it then? Why don't heterosexual people get it?
Don't know. Didn't quiz him. But then he said, what about...
Did the doctor really say to you, gay people get it?
He might have said, like, homosexuals.
Does this doctor operate from a park bench somewhere?
Sorry!
Does he have a lot of carrier bags with him?
Why would his first thing be ringworm, gay people get it?
So yeah, I said not gay. I said I don't know any wrestlers. That's a fact. And then he said, have you stroked any bald pets?
Any bald pets?
Bald. He said, have you stroked anything with hair missing? Bald.
That's just yourself.
And I said, I can't remember. And I couldn't be bothered.
Was this, sorry, were these all euphemisms? Like, wrestlers get it, wink, do they? Yeah. You stroked the, little bald hairless thing? No, doctor. Okay, gay people get it. Look, are you gay? Are you gay? I'm gay. I'm gay. I want to stroke someone bald.
So I didn't want to get into the bear suit thing, because then he'd be thinking, what's he doing?
No, you've got it.
So wait. So he had a list of he's reading this off a list, was he?
No, he did it from his head. He knew it already. So he didn't have to look at a form or anything. He went ringworm. He's obviously had a few people in there who have had it, and they've gone, ringworm? That's a bit weird. Where have I got that from? And he knew straight away.
So he's had 3 people in there with ringworm.
Popular.
One of them was a wrestler. One of them had a shaved dog. And one of them was a homosexualist. Is this the same doctor who
told me that my nerves were too short for my body?
Yeah.
Different fella. So yeah, ringworm I got from my time in Boston.
Well, that was a heck of a story. I'm beginning to wonder if the reason Suzanne didn't go with you on that trip was not to do with work obligations.
Richard Ashcroft, check the meaning. He's from your neck of the woods, isn't he?
Wigan.
Yeah, we were just discussing
the fact how miserable and mean Carl is. He won't do anyone a favour.
Do favours. I shifted your telly.
Oh, hold on. He shifted my telly. I gave him a television. I gave him a bed. He went, I shifted your bed. No, I gave you a bed. That's how he couches things.
I cashed that bloody cheque you wrote to me.
Unbelievable.
Who's the last person you did a favour for where you weren't expecting something in return?
I'm always treating people. I've told you, if I have a good day, at the end of it, I'll go, do you know what? I'll treat them.
Treat who?
It might be a homeless fella. It might be some charity. I'm sick, honestly, the amount of money I give away
It
to
might be
stuff,
a
I don't like chatting about
girlfriend
it.
who got a lovely new camera for Christmas, still wrapped up from when it was given to you as a leaving present.
So...
all this stuff about you're doing so much for charity. You honestly tell me, you think you're walking along, you're whistling, oh, I've had a great day, me. Hey, you never have a great day.
No, I've never seen you have a great day. It doesn't matter what, it's unbelievable. You're whinging all the time, miserable.
Yeah.
Nothing impresses you, nothing at all. The best I've ever heard you was, I was alright at that.
Well, tell us about the last time you had a great day. What was the last great day you had where you thought, oh, I must end this by giving some money to a homeless fella?
I mean, yeah, I don't have a great day. but what I mean is, a day when I go, do you know what? I'm quite content.
That's amazing!
It's a long way from a good day.
That is the equivalent of him skipping along.
No, every night before I nod off, I lie there, and I think, what sort of a day have I had? And I'll go through it, and I'll go, yeah, that was alright.
How boring is that?
No, it's good, you've got to do that, otherwise what was the point of the day? If you're never going to look back on it and go, what have I done? Yeah, that was alright. What's the point of it happening?
But how often do you go, wow, I've really achieved a lot today?
Because
I remember one day at random you told us, you'd been to the cobblers and back.
I didn't even know cobblers still existed.
Yeah, that was a 24-hour period we were talking about there. You kept a diary. It mainly consisted of, had a chip butty in a cafe with Suzanne. And then you talk about an old woman you saw.
No,
that was your day.
I've made it a thing that I do now, that I like to learn something every day, and then...
Go on, what have you learnt today?
Well, I haven't done anything yet.
Brilliant.
But what I'm saying
What
is...
did you learn yesterday?
I've learned you're not a generous man. You're a mean bastard, you don't repay.
And that's coming from Steve Merchant.
I'm just saying, as long as I always think if you've learnt something,
Yeah.
then the day's not been wasted.
What have you
Someone-
learned
someone
yesterday?
famous
What have
said
you
that.
learned yesterday?
It was something you told me about the monkey arm.
Right, yeah. There's scientists have done the first brain robot interface. They've put like 100 electrodes on the part of the cortex that is for your motor system, and they put it on a monkey's brain, and through the power of thought, he learned how to use a robot arm.
Wow.
So just by thought, just like you do your own arm,
Yep.
you know, and it took him a few days, not years. In a few days, this monkey was making this robot arm pick up grapes and put it in his own mouth through the power of thought. Right? Carl went. Did he have his own arms? I went. Yeah. He went. Well, he's lazy then.
Don't you think it's a bit wasted on a chimp? One, what's it doing? All they ever do is eat or chuck shit about. So why give them a decent new robotic arm?
Well, who are you going to give it to?
I just mean give it to something that is going to get more use out of it.
What, a giraffe?
No, something more. If they could link that up to a worm, I'd go, that's good.
Well,
I'd
how
find-
could a worm think to use a robot arm?
Listen to me.
They can't think.
Oh, hang on,
Yeah,
I'd
but
like
this
to
is-
know. I'd like to know how this tiny
How do you
worm-
know? How do you know? What I'm saying is, a worm's never had an arm.
You're a maniac.
I'm
Think
not
what you're
gonna-
saying. You wish a worm had an arm for a day.
No, all I'm saying is, if we're going to faff about here and get animals giving them extra arms, don't...
They
just-
weren't giving a monkey an extra arm. They were testing this theory that they could make the first computer-brain interface. The thought went from the brain through a computer and made this arm work. That's incredible. The upshots are you can really have bionic arms. You could have amputees having perfectly working dexterous limbs.
And your response to that is?
I'd
Give
just
it to
say-
a worm.
I'd just say I'd be more... I'd sort of be fascinated about seeing it more. If they said, look at what the worm wants to do with an arm if it had one.
I honestly don't know how your brain works. I think we should give it to you and see what you do with the arm.
What? I tell you what.
How
I
would a
read.
worm?
Here
How
we
would a
go.
worm? How could a worm have an arm, Carl? It would.
It wouldn't have an arm. The monkey didn't have an arm. It was a robot arm that they'd set up.
Right,
on this-
let me
well,
explain it like this. I wish they'd have picked something else. Maybe not a worm, but they always seem to do the tests on the wrong animals.
No, they do it on the closest thing to the human being they
They've
can.
done, I tell you what I read. Do you know I say I like to learn something every
Yeah.
day and what have you?
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, it was about our worm. They've given it anti-aging cream.
Right.
When have you ever seen an old worm? How do we know if it's any good? I could not tell you the age of a worm. I've seen loads of them. Give it a tortoise.
Play a record.
Bob Dylan, positively 4th Street.
I actually, Rick, was in Vietnam a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
And I know I don't know if this was thanks to your campaign, but I did pass somewhere. It was admittedly a European person, but as I passed, they went, "Oi, oi! Carl Pilkington's got a head like a f***ing orange."
That's amazing.
Which is lovely to see.
And
I've
that's
had
in-
it all the way around the world.
That's in Vietnam. What were you doing in Vietnam?
You know, just heard there was a war. Went over to see if that was wrapped up. They finished that a while ago.
So you've been to Vietnam. You went to
Popped down to Cambodia at the same time.
Cuba, yeah, Cambodia, Kenya. I was wondering, would you ever consider going to a holiday destination where you didn't have to have injections in the stomach to get in?
Well, you know what? I am an adventurer by spirit. I'm a sort of Indiana Jones figure, and plus someone was paying for it. We did it. Pardon me. We did it in high-class luxury.
Did you?
There was no slum in it. I felt a bit bad because I was worried that I wouldn't see the real Vietnam. But I did. I did see the real Vietnam from the air-conditioned 4x4 that I was being driven to my 5-star hotel.
And what's it like?
It's great. It's really good. I mean, obviously, you know, the war was a long time ago, so they've got back on the, you know, back on their uppers. I don't know what I mean by that, but anyway,
Nice the other way around. If you're on your uppers, isn't
yeah,
it? Yeah.
back on. Anyway, no, it's doing well. A lot of nice people, a lot of generous people. You know, obviously there's poverty.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things over there I think which would really intrigue you, Carl, and I think it's a great shame that you're not more adventurous as a traveller, because I think it would really open your eyes.
You're having a laugh. He has about 9 holidays a year.
But he goes to the same place, doesn't he? Some rock in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, it's safe. I know
There's
Vietnam's
nothing there.
I know, but I don't sort of... What I've seen of Vietnam, I had a mate who went to somewhere like that. He showed me a picture. I had a picture of him walking around with a bag of locust that had been sold, and that's to eat.
Well, I did actually utter the phrase at one point, "Oh, I think that gecko's repeating on me."
That's what I mean.
So, I mean, I am quite exotic. I don't mind. I tell you what I didn't do, though, and I think I would fascinated to have seen you down there. There's a place in Vietnam, just outside of Hanoi, called Snake Village, right? And it is a long, long tradition in Vietnamese culture of eating snakes. In fact, one of the tourists even said, one of the guides actually said, "We will eat anything." And they eat snakes over there, and I'm not just talking about tiny little ones. I mean proper great big mammoth snakes, sometimes even king cobras, which I think may even be endangered in some parts of the world. And anyway, in Snake Village, you go over there. I didn't go because I was just a bit too squeamish. You sit down. They bring a great big snake. You choose it like you would a lobster. They bring you that snake. They sort of give it a bit of a demonstration. Then they slit it open in front of you.
That's disgusting.
The blood dribbles into a cup, and then if you're the guest of honour, they take the still beating heart and they make you drink it from a glass.
Yeah, you see,
That's disgusting.
I've never fancied that.
No.
I've never sort of thought, you know what? I just think it's not holiday, that. It's like endurance. I don't.
I'm not suggesting that you would enjoy that. I'm saying that there are many of these interesting, exotic worlds out there. Do you just stay closeted in your tiny little world and whinge about everyone else? Oh, and this and that. You've got no real empathy. I mean, I went to some extraordinary places in Vietnam. There's quite a lot of floating villages. Yeah. Villages that are actually floating on the water where the fishermen
Well, he's
live.
had trouble with his boiler. There was a big leak in your flat, wasn't there?
But that's fine. Looking at stuff like that. All I'm saying is, when it comes to the point when I'm getting hungry, don't be serving me a snake's head. I'd love to see a little floating village. But why is it every restaurant you go in, they go, do you want some crispy ant? Sea urchins? Some mate had one of them, and he said, it's sort of alive when you're eating it. You have to hit it on the head to knock it out a bit and eat it before it wakes up again. I don't want a meal where you're sort of having to do that to it. I'm not going to enjoy it, thinking, is it waking up yet? I haven't finished my starter. Oh, it's rolling about a bit. Hit it on the head again.
But this shows your ignorance, Carl, because Vietnamese food is not like that at all, is it? I'm just talking about one particular exotic restaurant.